before we go any further, just want to say today's video is going to be brought to you by Fandomion. If you want to buy some really awesome anime merch from My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, and Haiku, and so many other anime, I recommend using my link in the description box to check them out. And there's free worldwide shipping on orders over $39. You'll also get an additional 5% off using my promo code down below. For any of you guys who might be interested or on the fence, I highly recommend checking out their website. Pay attention to the size chart. That'll be the biggest thing I would tell you guys. But with that being said, though, let's jump back into today's video. Man. Yo, I told you guys when we got into this Shikamaru Shinden Mourning class, I told you this was like OG Naruto mixed with Hunter x Hunter's 13th chairman arc. I said this was a very political story, and man, when I tell you, this is probably hands down one of the biggest crowning moments in Naruto's run as Hokage. Naruto Uzumaki fanboys should be standing up applauding. They should have like fireworks going off and everything. Like essentially in this moment right here, Naruto working in conjunction with the feudal lord of the land of fire, Ikkyo, they've gotten together, they planned with Shikamaru, and essentially in a way to actually stop the confrontation that's going on with the land of earth and the land of lightning, they've essentially pulled the biggest boss move ever. They've done something that has never been done in modern history in the Naruto world, which is, again, modern history. All of the feudal lords gathering in one place, and it's not just for the 5 great nations, but the smaller nations as well. All the feudal lords on the continent are gathering for a continental summit. You're gonna have the feudal lords, you're gonna have their aides, you're even gonna have the kage from the villages to take their orders from the feudal lords. They're all gonna be there in order to discuss the situation that's going on at hand. So for timeline placement, for anybody that stumbled across this video, I will say that this novel takes place at the tail end of the Versus Momoshiki arc, and then it continues during and after the Mujina Bandits arc, and the after part is in the days after the Mujina Bandits arc. So now that you have a little bit of timeline placement, if you want to go back and check out the prior videos after this one, I would recommend going onto the homepage, looking at the Naruto novel section, and watching the Shikamaru Shinden novel videos. That way you can actually get some background information on how we got to this point. So we're about 70% through the novel at this point, and this is one of those big moments right here to where, as you guys know, I love Naruto as Hokage. I didn't care for Naruto in part 2, but I love Naruto as Hokage right now, and it's because of moments like this. So Shikamaru at first wanted to strong arm the feudal lord into doing his bidding, but by Naruto basically saying, let's go to the feudal lord and let's just talk to him, no ulterior motives, let's just talk to him, talk it out, let him know what our situation is. They work things out, they bow their heads in front of the feudal lord. Ikkyo, Naruto, and Shikamaru, they come up with this idea. So they hold this 5 feudal lord summit, and it happens over the video screens and everything, and essentially Ikkyo is kind of following the script that Shikamaru came out for him. So Shikamaru is saying, like, look, you're going to say this at this time, they're going to react in this way, they're going to react in that way, you're going to counter with this, you're going to pause the meeting at this time. Shikamaru has the whole thing strategically mapped out, and Naruto's got this grandiose idea, and I'm going to give Naruto some shit right here. So Naruto has this grandiose idea of, well, we can disclose Konoha's military secrets to everybody. That way they don't have to fear Konoha because they'll all be on equal ground with us. And Shikamaru's like, if it comes to it, we'll do that. I don't think that's a good idea right there, but you know, if it comes to it, we'll actually do that. But you know, Shikamaru's also like, we can crush them even if it's an equal ground because of the quality of our ninja. And so essentially Ikkyo pauses the actual meeting, and Ikkyo gives them a brilliant idea. Ikkyo says, like, yo, this is what I'm thinking about, Naruto. So the feudal lord is coming to them with on equal territory, on equal ground. Keep in mind, the feudal lord is technically above the Hokage. He comes to Naruto and he says, okay, you see what's going on here. You see the greed that is making the feudal lord of the land of earth want to invade the land of flowers. You see that there's nothing that's going to be talked out of it because this man spent too much money to get ready for this. I think I know the best way to actually avoid there being any type of a war. So we'll call for a continental summit with all the feudal lords of the big and the small villages. We'll just call it Continental Summit, and we'll force them to actually take our offer. And Shikamaru's like, offer? What offer are you talking about? And so the feudal lord tells Naruto, like, yo, we have territory here in the land of fire that We got that as spoils of war, but those people never actually pledged allegiance to the land of fire. It's on the border between the land of fire and the land of earth, but those people view themselves as being citizens of the land of earth. They don't view themselves as being citizens of the land of fire. So let's just give them that ground back. That ground is actually fertile. They can actually grow. They can develop weapons if that's what they need to do. They can harvest and they don't have to rely as much on trade. That could be something that we could offer them. I've actually been thinking about it all along anyway. And so Naruto agrees with it. So right there, that's a bit of a boss move on Naruto's part, that he's working in conjunction with the feudal lord. Basically, his boss is saying, what do you think about this idea? If you ever worked in corporate America, I know a lot of you guys are younger, so you haven't. This is me telling you that's pretty huge when your fucking boss comes to you and says, I'm thinking about doing this, but I value your opinion. Do you think this is a good idea? If you say it is, I'll do it. If you say it isn't, I'm not going to be as likely to do it. Ikkyo, I think Ikkyo is going to play this card regardless, but he would feel more confident if he had Naruto in his corner backing him on it. And Shikamaru says, like, fam, we can't do this. If you do something like this, you're essentially admitting defeat. We can't do this. They have never had a situation where land has just been given away to another nation. We got that land through war. Your great grandfather acquired that land. You're just going to give it to him? That's a sign of weakness right there. So again, Shikamaru's not quite on this because, he's seeing things from the darker side. However, this is where Ikkyo really shines at this point. We only saw him briefly in the Boruto anime when Naruto and Shikamaru and Ikkyo were meeting during the Mujin Bandits arc. So it's nice to actually see this calculated side from Ikkyo. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read you the actual scene from the light novel, and then I'm going to come back to you guys my thoughts on the scenario, and it's here I'm going to begin quoting. The other daimyo were speechless after Ikkyo made his proposal. Cede the territory, Tekken asked, his right eyebrow arched in a neat semicircle. Yes. There was no hesitation on Ikkyo's reply. He nodded at Tekken and then immediately turned his gaze to Danjo. It's slightly smaller than the land of flowers, but you'll be able to grow crops and other things. How about it? Lord Danjo, can we make a deal? But the preparations for the attack were already underway. Danjo's chins wobbled. I spent a lot of money on this. This would mean that there's fewer sacrifices, Ikkyo said smoothly. Otherwise, you risk the land of lightning joining in this war, so that you all end up killing each other on a larger scale. I don't think what I'm offering is such a bad deal. No, but Danjo rejected the proposal. He was losing the chance to bring down the hammer he'd raised. What are the land of fire and Konoha thinking? Seducing me with sweet words like seed. What exactly are your intentions? Danjo asked. I simply want you to stop the war, Ikkyo insisted. You're lying. Danjo leapt to his feet, shaking his head. Beads of sweat popped up on his round forehead. He flailed as he yelled, I will not accept this at all. In that case, then we have no choice. We'll have to ask everybody else here, Ikkyo said coolly. Tekken was paying close attention to this exchange, his arms still crossed. The solution to the problem was in the hands of Ikkyo and Danjo now. What do you mean, everyone else? Danjo frowned. The daimyo of all these countries on the continent and their aides, Ikkyo replied. How will we do something like that, huh? Danjo asked. We all sit down and talk to each other. Ikkyo opened his eyes wide. A continental summit. A continental summit! Danjo's face, which had been overly confident, now twisted into a menial smile. We hold a continental summit and together discuss the land of fire ceding territory against the land of earth's invasion of the land of flowers. How does that sound? Ikkyo smiled. Ikkyo! You! Danjo's selflessness spilled out into his words, forced to breathe a deep breath of noxious air into the land of Earth's daimyo. Ikkyo did not so much as flinch. If you say you refuse, well, I have some ideas of my own, Ikkyo said. The land of fire would become the land of Earth's enemy. Danjo looked like he would succumb to any moment of pressure of Ikkyo's implicit threat. Sounds like a fine idea, huh? Tekken interjected deliberately. Glaring at the land of Earth's daimyo's sweaty, round face, the land of lightning's daimyo continued. The land of lightning agrees to Lord Ikkyo's proposal. Then so shall we, the daimyo of the land of water, follow suit. So then, what will you do? Ikkyo asked. And Danjo no longer had any means of resisting. End quote. So I just want to say this. If you couldn't tell, Danjo is really, really fat. Like, my man is huge. Like, Choji was talking about his weight. This man is huge. So now we got that established. established, okay? Because, you know, my man's sweating. They did him dirty in the actual novel. They said this man's chins were wobbling. Like, the fact is that essentially Ikkyo, with Naruto's support, basically backed the Daimyo into a corner. And the whole time that this conversation was going on, you know, prior to this, Naruto's looking at the Daimyo and Naruto's telling Shikamaru, like, I cannot believe that Kurosuke had to deal with somebody like this. No wonder she was acting so out of character. No wonder she was acting like such a raging bitch. You know, I seen a few people say, like, why was Kurosuke being so overly aggressive? This is why. Look at what she was actually dealing with. This is why you actually read the light novel before you start taking stuff out of context. But essentially, you're in a situation where this Daimyo, this overweight Daimyo, his main thing is that he wants to actually go to war because, as he said earlier, essentially, yeah, the kage, they play nice, but the feudal lords are the ones that call the shots. Why should they have to essentially not stir up the pot and cause war? Because when there's war, the ninja villages can actually start making more money because they can start lending out their services to other villages. They can start selling their weapons. He's thinking about increasing his bottom line on top of taking more territory. And so it's the fact that Ikkyo is willing to give up territory that was originally theirs, that the Land of Fire gained via war. He's willing to give it to stop war. This man Danjo is not happy because he's in a situation where he spent this money to get the Land of Earth's village, the Hidden Stone village, ready to go to war. And now he's wasted the money and he's being bullied around, and his intentions are being shown because he was hoping to start a war, and then he was hoping to actually double dip when it comes to profits on the other side, because after the Land of Lightning, if the Land of Lightning lost the war, according to Danjo's plan for the Land of Earth, if the Stone Village and Mist Village were able to overtake the Land of Lightning would have to then try and take land from another village, and then they could double dip and start selling their ninja and services to other people, as well as dominate the trade market. He was getting very greedy at this point. And what I like about this moment right here is that essentially Ikkyo kind of shows you, like, this man, when it comes to strategy, he ain't too shabby himself. So I want to know from you guys, what do you think about this political maneuvering that was going on here? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.